Every day I walk my dog and see people riding their bikes, and I wonder why everyone just settles for riding regular bikes when they can ride a garden on wheels. And that's when I decided to cover my bike with chia seeds, wait 15 days for a garden to grow, and then take it on the town and ride the coolest chia pet ever. The first thing I had to do was figure out how to get the chia seeds to stick to the bike without falling off. I've grown many chia pets in the past and failed, so this time I wanted to make sure that I did it right. I didn't really know what I was gonna do to start, but I had the idea to get a big towel, cut it up in pieces, and then zip tie them to the bike. Now this process took me about 5 hours to fully cover the bike because at first I was tying the towels with string until the moment came where a light bulb went off in my head that I could just use zip ties instead and pull them instead of tie them and get blisters on my fingers. Luckily, I realized this before I almost broke my back, and I had some zip ties on hand because what gardener doesn't have zip ties on hand? And finally, I did the deed and the bike was covered in towels. Step 1 complete. You could see how excited I really was to be done with the first step in the process, and finally I was ready for the next step, figuring out how to stick the chia seeds onto the bike. Now, in order for it to be successful and for the chia seeds to grow, I needed to make sure the chia seeds stuck on the towels, which meant I was gonna have to spray it with water many times per day in order to ensure the seeds didn't dry up and not sprout altogether. But anywho, let's not get ahead of ourselves because first I had to get the chia seeds and make some chia gel to loosen the seeds and get them to stick onto the bike. I only had about half a pack of chia seeds left in my pantry, so Rafi and I set out to the grocery store to obtain the main character of this episode, chia seeds. I wasn't sure exactly how many chia seeds I would need, so I got 2 packs for $30, way too expensive for chia seeds nowadays. I went to check them out, and then I made my way back to my apartment to start the journey for real. Tried to get into the elevator, and no one would hold it open for me, and that is okay because I went for the stairs. And then I was finally on my way home. I remember 2 years ago when a pack of chia seeds were only like $5, so I was a little bit confused why they were so expensive, but I really overestimated just how many chia seeds I would even need, and I realized after making the gel that I only needed that half a pack that I already had in my pantry because the chia seeds basically triple in size. And so if you're ever making a chia pet, you won't need as many chia seeds as you might think. But anywho, we all know you aren't as crazy as me, and likely you'll just be eating them and not growing them, but I beg to differ here as your crazy plant lady. So, in order to make the chia gel, I just added the chia seeds to a container and guesstimated the amount of water I would need, poured it in, mixed it up, then waited about 15 minutes for the chia seeds to soak and form a gel that I could then stick to the bike. I also mixed it every 5 minutes to make sure the chia seeds weren't sticking to each other and forming clumps. Should have got a spoon but used zip ties for mixing instead, you know how it is. I also thought I would spray the towels to get them wet so that the chia seeds could stick more easily, but that was probably a mistake because the gel was sticky enough for the seeds to stick without the water. The water actually made the chia seeds stick less to the towels, but anywho, you live and you learn, and when I cover my car in chia seeds for the next video or anything else you want to see me cover in chia seeds, which by the way, let me know in the comments and I'll actually do it. I'll listen to you guys, but then I'll know exactly what to do. So I got my gloves on because Lord knows I wasn't gonna get those seeds all up in my nails, and then it was time to cover the bike with the gel and hope that the seeds would even stick to the bike and that it would then grow into this garden that I imagined so clearly in my head. Gave it another good mix, made sure the gloves were a good call, and started applying the chia seeds piece of the currently very ordinary bike by piece, and I felt that victory was upon us and we were finally getting somewhere because they were sticking and stick. And it was working. This is also the moment when I realized I shouldn't have sprayed the bike because the seeds were not sticking as well as they would have to the dry towels, but that is okay because it was still working pretty well, maybe just a bit slower. And I stood there applying the chia gel for about 2 hours, making sure every nook and every cranny was covered in seeds, while also trying to ensure I was making the layers as even as possible so that my garden would grow evenly and sprout simultaneously. And finally, after what felt like eternity, our chia bike was ready.
I don't understand. But what's the jello?
And now, the subsequent days after doing this were the most important because, again, I wasn't sure if this was even gonna work or not, but all that mattered to me was that I sprayed the bike every 2 to 3 hours, which turned into dousing the bike with water because the spraying just wasn't enough. And in about 5 days, the bike looked something like this. Now, in the past, when I've grown chia pets, the seeds sprout really quickly, and within 7 days, the pet is ready. But with this bike, it was taking about double the amount of time, so I was really nervous it wasn't working. I also didn't drench it with enough water for a few of the days, so the seeds were starting to dry up a bit. But then it rained for a few days, and I kept adding water as many times per day as I possibly could, and by day 9, it was looking a little something like this. But some of the parts of the bike weren't growing as fast as the others, like the front versus the middle, so I was a little nervous it wasn't gonna work like how I had imagined in my head. But with plants, you gotta trust the process and remember that it's all trial and believe that everything will work out how it's supposed to. So I continued to water it even before I went to sleep. 20 minutes watering. And it's safe to say that it was the main character in my life for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then finally, day 12 came and every part of it was growing nicely and it was near ready because by day 15, this is what our bike looked like. Rafi's best friend, a masterpiece, a work of art, just call me Grow with Picasso because this was just too beautiful to even ride. But you all know that it was about that time to ride it. I haven't ridden a bike in a long time, so I first had to fill the tires with air because they were flat, so equipped with my GoPro, of course, brought this work of art outside for the very first time, and before we even put it down, we got people staring and commenting.
That's hilarious.
We took it all the way to the air pump station, and I was pumped. First, we're gonna fill the tires with air.
Oh yeah, now the bike really comes out. Must film some reactions.
Until I ran into a problem and I realized I may not be able to even ride this bike because this machine was out of order and the next machine was miles and miles away.
Uh-oh. Oh no. It says out of service. Well, what will we ever do?
We had the idea to just add the toonie into the machine anyway and see if it worked, which by the way, a toonie is just $2 in Canada.
Should we try anyway? $2 to activate.
Yeah, it's worth the rest, $2. So it ended up working. Even though it was out of order, we made it work.
God is always on our side, y'all, because it literally turned on and the air pump owners lied, okay? This thing works. But I wasn't sure if it was gonna turn off on me at any moment, so I did this as fast as I could and it went so smoothly you could see the airs filling right up in the tires.
Oh, did you see that?
And I was so excited that the day started off with a bang. And then, once the air in the tires was ready, I hopped on the Chia-sicle and started a 40-kilometer bike ride. Oh! Excited to see everyone's reactions to the bike.
Oh! How's it feel?
Amazing.
The Chia Queen has arrived. You look kinda cute in your chia seed bike.
I felt like a queen riding around town on my Chia bike. It was nice to know that I brought a smile to a lot of people that day.
Giraffe in the back. This is a byron.
Oh, thank you. I grew it myself. It's living? Oh, yeah. Super cool. Can I take a picture? Absolutely.
It's pretty cool, honestly.
I don't think people realize
I know. Now we know that the towel thing works.
you wrap anything.
Yeah. I ended up taking the bike back out once more so that people could enjoy the bike again because I knew that in just a few days the chia seeds would die off and the Chia-sicle would be no more.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then, just like that, the night came to a close and I figured I'd let the Chia bike grow for a few more days to see what the next stage is in this beautiful piece of art. And once a few more days pass, I'm gonna donate it to the homeless shelter. But anywho, thank you so much for coming along this wild Chia journey. Let me know if you want to see me do my car. I'll see you next week.
How's it feel?
Amazing.